Welcome to the Overrated Experience Sports and Sports Betting Podcast. Yes, we're back. This is a random betting sports drop-in edition of the Overrated Experience. We thought it was way too long since our last WBC. I think that's where we were at as far as podcasts go. But we're back. And Austin, how you been doing?
I've been doing good. Thanks for having me.
Look at that dead air. Like, you're supposed to expand on how you're doing. Well, I'll tell you this, and that.
I've been busy with work. Not too much time to focus on the sports, but, I went out there, seen the Jays game. Been following baseball per usual, but maybe not as dedicated as I'd like to be, but been enjoying.
Yeah, so as far as the Jays game goes, your thoughts? I think we're at the end of the renovations to the Rogers Center. I know when we went, the seats we had were really good, right in left field where no obstruction. You felt like you were right on top of the field. You had the bullpen. That's one of the cool features that you can watch the guys warm up pretty closely. Really good experience. Would you say is there anything missing from the Rogers Center experience? Have they pretty much thought of everything?
You know what? They've done really good with the renovations. Jay's ticket prices are definitely through the roof compared to the last 10 years when I've been going to games personally. But that's to be expected when you're the reigning AL champs. So
it is, but let's think about it. If you had to take a family of 4 or 5 kids to the ballpark, and those kids, as you know, they like to have some ice cream. They like to have some snacks, which is pretty acceptable. You might get caught up in a few $100s on top of the tickets, on top of the travel to get there. I believe one of the tips that people do not maximize is the Rogers Center does allow you to bring in your own food. I think if you, let's say, had a bag of Lay's chips, as long as it's sealed, you can bring it in.
Yep, that's
true. Have you done that?
One time I brought a Subway sub, and it was all wrapped for me, so I just brought that in, ate a sub while I was watching the game, and honestly, it was pretty great.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Might do it again.
Watch out, folks. Watch out, security. We have Austin coming in with a sandwich. Make sure you check him out.
Did you see the cotton candy poutine at the ballpark?
Oh, no.
Yeah, it looks disgusting. It's like cotton candy, but then there's like mayo. You gotta look at a picture of this thing. Picture of this thing.
That's on the verge of being offensive. That's disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. And why, outside of an Instagram photo, why in the hell would anybody have that?
Because they're sick.
What do you think halfway through eating that? Do you show that, oh my God, I made a mistake. Oh my God, I got to finish this, but I can't show the audience or the people around me that when they said don't do it, I should have listened? Like, what do you think you have to get through it no matter what and say it was good? What do you think?
I think you have to listen. You probably pay $20 for it. You got to eat the whole thing, right?
Oh my God, it's disgusting.
And then you probably just never buy it again. Forget that it happened.
Right. Ugh. But I will say though, it's pretty cool. Like you know me, I like to. If I'm going to go to a Jays game, I would prefer a Friday or a Saturday where work doesn't get in the way. If you stay a little bit late, so we went on a Saturday, and I thought it was still a cool experience to hop on the train, go downtown. Union Station, they've done it up pretty good where you got a couple bars you can hit up quickly before the game. You can get to a restaurant, fast food, like sit down. It's all there. And so many shops. I've been down there many times since the renovation at Union Station, but until we took that walk in between where we got off Bay Street to the main part of Union, I didn't notice how many shops were in there. It's amazing. And it's crowded.
Yeah, you could literally be walking down there and get your hair cut. Like that, I've seen a barber shop in there. It's
That's
crazy.
Right.
There's
That's
anything you need. Banks. There's multiple banks. Scotia TD.
Yeah, and I hope the city doesn't lose that because downtown you hear stories. The city kind of degrading. A lot of folks down on their luck down there. That maybe it's not uncommon for somebody to say that a subway smells like urine, right? And you don't want the downtown not to be an attractive place where you can put the kids on the GO train, head down to a Blue Jay game and enjoy a nice bite to eat without having any issues or looking at your clock when the sun goes down. You can't think that way, right? So hopefully it stays and keeps the experience that we had. And even the way to the game, it was great. We were talking baseball, and we got some guy heard us ahead of us on the escalator. He
Yeah.
starts getting into the conversation. He's holding the bag, and he's got a few drinks in the bag, and offers it up. And so we got a free what the hell was it called? Free White
White
Claw.
Claw?
We
White
help, yeah,
Claw.
White Claw.
Yeah.
Which yeah, they're okay. White Claws are okay. Did you enjoy the White Claw?
You know what? I'll be honest. I'm not a White Claw guy. I definitely prefer the beer, but
Yeah.
it was a good experience. I always like having those positive experiences with strangers. We were friends
You
because
like
we're
having
Jays
positive
fans.
experience with strangers.
No, but you know what I mean? It's like he's a Jays fan, I'm a Jays fan, so it's like we're cool, and we had a drink and yeah, it was cool. But
Yeah.
definitely
So
not my cup of tea though.
no. Okay.
I'm
So
not big into the carbonated. It kind of tastes like carbonated water to me. Not a big fan.
I'll do it, but you're right. It after a couple, it's like, oh man, this does taste like carbonated water. Probably not as yummy as you would think.
Mm-hmm.
Funny. I'm looking on X right now. It's funny to see our live show broadcasting on X. It's
Really?
yeah, it's amazing. And for those out there, when we post the podcast, what I'm trying to do as well is Apple has now, or looks like they are uploading video podcasts as well. So you
Wow.
find our video podcast on YouTube at Overrated Experience. You can go on X, like I showed you for the live stream, at Overrated EXPER2. That's Overrated EXPER2 to drop us a line, comments, check out our live broadcasts, respond to some of our tweets that go out there. And it's pretty cool. So also the Overrated Experience had a great experience, no pun intended. A couple weeks back when we had the opportunity to get on Cross Country Canada, which is a Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon radio show on the CBC. And we were invited on the Overrated Experience was invited to talk about gambling and promotion of gambling and advertising. Should the government make it illegal? And we played the part for the Overrated Experience, talking about the recreational side, having fun with it, not getting out of control, and making aware that this is an issue potentially for some out there. But there's also a fun side where it's controlled. But it does put in the back of my head sometimes that there are folks out there, and sometimes you even got to look at your own habits and really stay in control. It's like any other vice. Alcohol is a great time until it's not, right? Until it's not. So it's a great conversation. We should always recognize that this sports betting can get out of control, especially in 2026, when within seconds you can sit on your couch and have thousands of dollars deposited into your FanDuel account like that, which could be very dangerous. Austin, I don't know about your thoughts. I mean, I was on the fence about totally banning advertising. I kind of lean towards limiting and being smart about it, and at times maybe an advertisement's on. But if you said to me, look, I think it should be banned, I wouldn't, protest or anything like that. But I could see that point of view as well. What are your general thoughts on the promotion of sports betting, the explosion that we've seen, and what impacts it has on our society?
Yeah, see, I believe people should have the decision to gamble. There's no doubt about that. At the end of the day, it's their money. They should be able to make the decisions with their own money. That's my opinion. But when it comes to advertising, it's a little bit of a gray area, right? It's kind of like cigarettes in a way. It's like when you're watching the Blue Jays game and you're seeing all these sports books, it's like this is also in my head. The thing I'm thinking is these are getting advertised to children as well, right? So they're growing up thinking that it's normal, it's fun, and it is normal. It can be normal and fun, but it's always something to be cautious of. So in all those advertisements, I think there should be something almost like a warning, kind of like, the back of your cigarettes has like, with the statistics of how many people's lives it has ruined or something like this. Um, so yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. I'm definitely more on the lenient side, I would say, but I would definitely say there is levels, and I would say that advertising has been more on the extreme side.
Yeah, so it's extreme for sure. I haven't seen it. It's still there. I mean, I remember when sports betting became legal in Ontario, there was such an explosion, like just over the top, multiple betting sites advertising. I do see it a little limited currently. It's still there. The Bet365s, the FanDuels and DraftKings are still there. But man, it was such an explosion right off the bat. to get people on board. And I'll tell you, man, it's the sports books are not your friend. They're there, unlike ever before. They're there to make money, right? There's no shock. I'm not telling you anything that's shocking. The betting options, which I think are something that I think fly under the radar, but whose advantage is it? Is it you, the consumer, or the FanDuels of the world when they advertise a prepackaged same game wager of 4 or 5, events that happen during, let's say today's Piston Cavalier game? Like who's trying to persuade who in taking that bet? Who's in the better position on the winning side if you choose to take one of those packaged same game parlays? Who do you think, Austin?
Them for sure.
Them, 100%. Yeah, you may hit now and then. You may hit, but they're not presenting packaged bets for you so that you can be winning consistently. Remember back in the day when, let's say, Bet365, as an example, would give you a free $50 bet, right?
Yeah.
Those exist still. However, I can tell you, unless you're VIP status, you're not getting much at FanDuel, but they tend to provide, promotions that are profit boosts, right? But you have to have a same game parlay with a set number of legs on it, and it has to be plus money. It can't be a minus 150, kind of bet. So that's the interesting part of what these betting sites do. So be careful out there. Let's be on the same page. And again, what we do, we're going to talk for fun. We're going to talk how it can be, a great conversation with buddies talking about your bets. But if it gets out of control, man, you got to back out and you got to hit the eject button and take a break. The funny thing is, I always have to think to myself is there's always tomorrow. There's always next week. Nobody ever runs out of games to bet on.
Yeah.
But if you're betting, Australian second division soccer at 4 a.m. to catch up on, yesterday's losses, maybe you want to slow it down.
Yeah. And I want to say something too. I feel like there's so many parlay boosts that I see now that it almost doesn't make sense anymore to just make a normal parlay. Wait for one of those boosts, because if you're being offered 50% boosts and you were going to do it anyways, I'm not talking about being persuaded. I'm talking about people that do parlays because that's the kind of betting they prefer. They like those long shots. I'm not saying they're in it for the money, or I'm not saying it's profitable, but if you're going to do that anyways, wait until you got one of the boosts, because weekly you're going to find those 30%, 50% increases to your 3-leg parlays. And if you're going to do it anyways, you might as well take them. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't look for those. I mean, there's people out there that do. That's fine. That's probably smart, right? If you're going to be patient, and if you were going to take a same game parlay, you might as well get that 20%, 30% boost on it to increase your payoff. But if you keep taking those same game parlays on a consistent basis, you're going to be rolling out that bankroll pretty quick.
Yeah, I guess there's other profit boosts to look forward to as well. For a perfect example here would be during the NFL season. Every week they'd have a 30 to 50% boost on a touchdown scorer, and I know we were taking advantage of that on a weekly basis, and it actually made the betting worth it.
But you're looking at it from a logical. I will say that's one of your strengths as a sports bettor. You're not quick to race in to make a bet. You usually have a good reasoning to why you're placing a bet, and you try to find value, especially in baseball. You tend to pick up on the trends of what pitcher may be in line to win, and a team that's kind of on the back end of a bad run, despite if they're the Dodgers or Yankees, and take advantage of that. So I'll give you your props on that you have a good eye for this. And speaking of football, how many days, Austin, do you think before we have kickoff between the Seattle Seahawks and Patriots to kick off the new season? How many days do you think we're away?
How many days?
How many days?
I don't know, like 80
and
days?
I'm not counting preseason. I'm talking regular season.
Regular season days till football. Honestly, this is a real shot in the dark. I have no idea. Let's say 70 days.
70 days is absolutely incorrect.
Less?
More. Think about September, right?
Yeah.
Think about we're in May.
100. I don't know.
115 days until
115.
We kick off the new season. And wow, man, the regular season schedule was also posted, and that got a lot of play. you can't believe the explosion of popularity in the NFL. I will say though, there will be some point, maybe not in the near future, there will be some point where these owners go a little too far and people start pushing back and turning the TV sets off. Again, not anytime soon, but they are pushing and pushing and pushing. I mean, we're going to have a game in Australia, 49ers and Rams, as the second game of the season. I can't even comprehend the local time this game will be on, right? I don't know. I mean, I've read it, but I can't understand it because of the time difference. I don't know if it's yesterday or tomorrow this goddamn game will be on, right? Can't remember if Australia's ahead or behind. You have that. You now have a Wednesday night game ahead of Thanksgiving. So,
Really?
you know how Thanksgiving has the 3 games?
Yeah.
You have now a game on the Wednesday night that will lead into Thanksgiving. Makes sense. It makes sense because I believe, that is like the party time of the year, the day before Thanksgiving in the United States. Let me just bring up the schedule. Actually, the schedule for Thanksgiving is pretty damn nice. Let's see. All right. So let's go to week 1. So week 1, we got Patriots, and that's on a Wednesday too. The season, as far as I can't remember, it opens up on a Wednesday, September 9th. Pats and Seahawks rematch of the Super Bowl, which honestly was a very forgettable Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't that memorable at all. Rams, I guess it looks like 8:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, September 10th. And the first Sunday nighter is going to be Cowboys, Giants. Broncos and Chiefs kick off the first Monday nighter. That might even be Patrick Mahomes quarterback. That might be what's his name from the Bears and from the Jets.
Bears, Caleb? No.
No, the quarterback out of Ohio State. He was Bears quarterback.
He's a mobile quarterback.
He was with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Justin Fields. Justin Fields. Yeah, so he might be behind center when this kicks off based on Patrick Mahomes' recovery. And then let's get into Christmas time. December, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's go back and let's check out the Thanksgiving schedule. So tell me if you don't like this Thanksgiving schedule. Tell me you don't like this one. So the Wednesday, November 25th, leading in to Thanksgiving, we have Packers-Rams, which is a pretty juicy matchup. My God, man, the parties that are going to be happening on Wednesday, November 25th, leading into Thanksgiving. And then you got the traditional Lions game. They play the Bears. Solid matchup. Mm-hmm. Very solid there. That's great. Eagles, Cowboys. I mean, Eagles should be in the mix. I have no clue what the Cowboys will look like. I mean, you're hoping this game is relevant. Cowboys in that 4:30 p.m. slot. Interesting 8:20 game, that night game. Chiefs visit Bills in the brand new Bill Stadium. Have you seen that? The new stadium? The images?
No.
Okay, you got to look at this. It's outdoor, which I would question. I don't know why for Buffalo, weird. Why it'd be outdoor. However, they do have it built so that I think it limits the weather impact. So the crowd, like a soccer stadium, have covers over them. It looks nice. It looks pretty good. It's better than what they were in Highmark Stadium, I think it was, instead of Rich Stadium. So interesting, big, 115 days. That's where the overrated experience really gets going. That's our focal point. So we want to do these drop-ins, and talking sports gambling, but we're really focused right on 115 days from now, getting ready for the NFL season, because that is the creme de la creme of sports betting. And the only thing that sucks, that means summer will be over and winding down. But let's do it now. Let's talk about these other sports that are in action right now. How much have you been? You can be honest with me. I get it. You're not the biggest hockey fan, but NHL wise, playoffs specifically. We'll get into other topics. How much have you been following the progress in the second round so far?
I follow the highlights. I follow the scores. I seen Mitch Marner have one of the greatest goals that I've ever seen. You've definitely seen that as well. I know.
People are going to talk about Marner, like, oh my God, why did Toronto let him go? Those goals and those situations were not happening in 9 years in Toronto. It's not happening. So kudos to Mitch. Let's see if he can keep it up against Colorado, which is an elite level Stanley Cup winning team. But when push came to shove, it didn't happen here in Toronto. So I'm not going to look back and say, oh my God, this season for the Leafs could have turned out much better if Mitch Marner was here. If our goal was just to make the playoffs, hey, maybe he puts us in a better position. But that wasn't the goal for 9 years. It was to progress at least beyond the conference final, which never happened. They got to the second round 2 times in 9 seasons. Pathetic. So I don't want to hear your crap about Mitch Marner, Austin. Okay? Sorry, what else have you noticed? What else have you also, sorry. Did you hear the story in Vegas about Torts, John Tortorella, costing his team a second round pick?
No, I didn't hear this.
Okay, this was the big news about, say, yesterday, day before. John Tortorella, after they knock off the Ducks, win the series to go to the conference final, decides in protest because Braden McNabb, one of their players, was suspended a game, that he would close the doors to the media, right? So they couldn't come in. He wouldn't speak to the media. A couple players were allowed to go speak at the podium, but he shut the door. That's a big no-no in the NHL because you're trying to promote your sport, especially in the Vegas area, where if you're shutting out your local, beat writers, that's not a good sign. So the NHL came down hard on the Vegas Golden Knights. And apparently this was based on after a few warnings about, I guess, their media treatment. They took a second round pick away from the Vegas Golden Knights for closing the door on the media and fined John Tortorella $100,000 for doing this. I'll tell you right now, this guy is a joke. When he came into the Vegas Golden Knights, I figured, okay, hey, he's going to have maybe, if he's successful, a short period of time before his act gets old. And I didn't think it'd be this fast. He's pulled this shit before. It's so brutal. This cat and mouse with the media, these actions that bring attention to him. And it's almost like, when somebody says, I don't want attention, but look at me, that's what he does. And when he's out of the NHL, he's the first guy signing up for a job with ESPN or any other hockey media. He's a joke. He's pathetic. He's got a great team. The Vegas Golden Knights are definitely in the mix to win the cup, but just a joke of a coach. And his act is going to get old very, very soon. So if you didn't hear that, take a read about it. But that was one of the big stories coming out of the Vegas Golden Knights.
It's a crazy story. Second round pick is no joke.
It is no joke. And I think they can appeal and potentially get it back. But what a loser, man. Honestly, what a fucking loser. Sorry. Pardon my French. And then the Habs. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say, I see kind of 2 parallels. Tell me if you agree with NBA and NHL, where one series has the 2 best teams. Like, it seems like quite a bit. Like, I would say Vegas and Colorado are significantly better than Buffalo and Montreal, are they not? Just like OKC and the Spurs to Detroit and Cleveland?
Yes, but remember, Carolina is waiting to play the winner of Buffalo Montreal in the conference final. And you can make the argument. You can make the argument that Vegas, Colorado are probably could be playing for the Stanley Cup, but the way that Carolina has played and hasn't dropped the game yet, they swept both series. Wow. They have taken their knocks. They've taken their licks over the years where they've been expected to get to the final and do some damage, and they have not. I think everybody's benefited by the Florida Panthers not sitting around here in the playoffs because I think they've had an off injury-plagued season, and things opened up for the rest of the NHL as soon as Florida bowed out. It was not there to grind it out. You also notice that the entertainment value is absolutely on a peak level right now in the playoffs. And I'm sorry, basketball fans, but at the moment, the NHL is kicking your ass as far as entertainment. The drama, the view that they want it more, it's simply there in the NHL right now. And I do believe the NHL wagon is picking up steam in the U.S. because it's always been, out of the big 4, long distance behind the other 3 major sports. But you can't argue that this NHL in the last couple of years, and especially this playoff run, is picking up steam in the United States. It's how can't you love, man, you got something wrong, you drop the gloves, you fight, you check, you have passion. Guys are battling through injuries. Nathan McKinnon, the night they eliminated the Minnesota Wild, took a puck to the mouth, pool blood. Guess who's on the bench 5 minutes later? It's Nathan McKinnon, and he scores the tying goal to send it to overtime, where the Avalanche knock off the Wild. And then you got the NBA, where you have Anthony Edwards, 8 minutes left in a game that, Spurs were going to win, and they were in well position to win, walks into a Spurs huddle and start shaking hands like it's the end of the game. What Minnesota Timberwolves fan wants to see their superstar do that? Tell me, what superstar? Would Michael Jordan ever do that? No goddamn way Michael Jordan would do that. He might give respect at the end of the game, but 8 minutes left, you're walking into a huddle and shaking hands and hugging like it's over. Like you're basically throwing up the white flag. Unacceptable. Well, that's what you get. The NBA's gotten soft, man. Like college basketball is where the grind is, right? But the NBA's gotten soft. They're soft. I don't know. What do you have comments on that? Am I wrong? Am I right?
I don't know. I definitely had fun watching the Raptors. I think OKC versus Spurs is going to be much must-watch basketball, so I'll still be tuning in.
Yeah, I guess I'll say that maybe some teams and some players have gotten soft. I wouldn't put the Raptors in that soft category. They lost Game 7. It wasn't because they didn't put 100% of that effort in there and want to win. And I never felt that they, took the foot off the gas. They just got beaten by a better team in Game 7. Mm-hmm. And the Cleveland Cavaliers.
If I'm not mistaken, they won all their home games, right?
Yeah.
As the underdog.
As the underdog, but they did. They did.
Yeah.
They couldn't get it done. And when it counted, Game 7, but I mean, when you look at this season, you're looking at next year, bam, they could be back.
Yeah, I like in my head, if we had home field advantage, realistically, there's a great chance we won that series. So that's kind of, as a Raptors fan, that is kind of crazy to see that we're already at that level, or could be. Yeah.
And then big Game 7 today in the NBA. You have Pistons, Cavaliers. Pistons with a big road win in Cleveland to push this game back to Detroit. What are the odds here today? Because we're a betting show. We should really talk about what we're looking at as far as odds in this game. So 4.5 point favorite are the home Pistons. 205.5 is the over under. I like the over. This seems kind of low to me. I'll take the over there. I think the Pistons do close it out. I think that Game 6 was the opportunity for the Cavaliers. They couldn't get the job done. And guess what? James Harden, who's been pretty damn good in these playoffs, tends to go missing in these big Game 7s. We'll see if that happens today. What do you think? Who's grinding this out?
I think actually Cleveland gets it done today and pulls up the upset on the road. Yeah.
I think you're completely wrong. Absolutely wrong. I'm just kidding. But that's your opinion. It's a free country. We'll give it to you. All right. So you think Cleveland's taking it? I think Pistons close it at home. What about that over-under? Do you think there'll be a grind-out game, or do you think we'll be seeing a raining threes today?
I'll say the over, but I'm not confident on it. I think it could go either way.
So you're not.
But
I'm
just
confident
leaning on Cleveland.
Okay.
Now. Put that down for an Austin from Ajax lock.
A lock. Oh, not
Cleveland
even a lean.
wins.
Not even a moving up in my chair lean. It is a lock.
Lock it up. Throw away the key.
That is ready to pour the cement, ready to mix it, ready to walk away that the job is done and it's going to take care of itself. That kind of lock.
That kind of lock. Hit it with the trowel.
Wow. Okay.
That kind of lock.
Okay. So you're going on money line, or are you talking about covering the spread?
I'm talking money line.
Plus 158. You're ready to put some money on that.
I'm ready to put some dough on it and throw it in the oven.
You're back in the beard because you have a beard.
Yep.
I think that's a little biased. Maybe I think you're a little misguided because
you know what? I might be. You know what? That could be it. Don't take my advice. No, I'm just kidding. We're going all in with Cleveland.
Yeah. Just because you're trying to be okay.
Fear the beard.
Cleveland wins today.
Fear the beard.
Okay. Well, you grow it longer, like a James Harden-esque. How about this? You grow that beard or commit to keeping the beard and keeping it growing. You can shape it. You can't reduce the size as long as the Cleveland Cavaliers are in the playoffs.
All right, deal.
To represent Harden.
Deal,
Got it?
to represent Harden. All right.
All right. So
and
the Harden beard
Cleveland is out of the playoffs.
The
this beard is here to stay.
Okay, but if they lose today or when they lose, will you shave it?
I'll maintain.
Come on, commit to it.
No, I can't shave it. I get clowned at work. In construction, you can't come in clean shaven. You get bullied.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
It can be pretty rough.
What kind of culture are you working in here? That's disgusting. I didn't know the concrete business was such a dark place.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, flipping back to the NHL, and we talked about the Leafs. They have picked up the first overall pick. They won the NHL draft lottery. They were sitting with 5th in the standings until the lottery. If they
Wow.
would have gone any higher, they would have lost the pick to the Boston Bruins. They've gained the first overall pick. They don't have any of their first round picks the next 2 seasons. They have a Colorado first pick, but that's going to be like a 30th, like 31, 32 kind of pick going into next year. You're the Leafs, John Chayka. I forgot, we haven't done a podcast since all this went down. So the Leafs, in a quick summary, had Keith Pele, had kicked out Brad Treliving. He brings in John Chayka and Matt Sundin. Chayka is a former general manager, general manager with the Arizona Coyotes. He had a bad breakup. I think he was accused of tampering, looking for another job. I believe it was with the Devils while he was still hired and working for the Arizona Coyotes. Some people in the NHL circles look at him as a fraud. Did you see the opening press conference with John Chayka and Matt Sundin and the reporters asking questions?
Yeah, they're basically kind of undermining them and kind of basically saying they're not qualified. They're the least qualified ones for the job. Is that pretty much that?
Yeah. He's pretty much like, and basically Steve Simmons of the Toronto Sun stating that I believe, and I'm just summarizing what I think he said, was out of 20 hockey executives that are well known, only one of them has had good things to say, and 19 of them basically shit on the pick of him as their general manager. And we quite don't know what is Matt Sundin's role. I mean, I think he was looked at as an ambassador or a consultant, but he wasn't put into that, he runs the show kind of position, like in front of hockey operations. And I don't know if that means that maybe he's in this role to dip his toe in and then has the opportunity to want that role. And maybe they're just holding it for him until he makes that final decision. I don't know. But I mean, and then they go ahead and fire Craig Berube, which it's not surprising that team just blew up. I mean, Craig Berube will land on his feet somewhere, but that was just ugly last year. It's kind of like, I don't know, something, I was trying to think of an analogy where you just can't use this again. It's just simply, you got to throw it away and start over. And understanding but the iffy part here is, where are the Leafs going?
Yeah.
I mean, you got that first overall pick. Do you blow it up? It doesn't look like they want to blow it up. And you get your captain, which I'm going to go off here in a second here. And I'm sorry for kind of going on here, but I'm going to use foul language in a second here. So I want you to make sure that you have the bleep ready to go. So when Austin Matthews at the year-end presser, before all these changes occurred, stated that when asked about 2 years from now when his contract ends, he really didn't get an answer, right? He's like, well, we'll see what happens, blah, blah, blah. I'm okay with that. Every NHL player that has a contract that is a few years out, I don't expect them to, oh no, I'm a Leaf for life. I'm going to die a Leaf. And nobody's done that. That's not today's NHL. You'd be stupid to do that, to give any leverage that, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just waiting for 2 years and give me a contract. There's no goddamn way that would happen. Why would he not exercise the right to have options closer to his free agency? But when he comes out after the Leafs hired John Chayka and Matt Sundin and states that, I don't know if I'm going to be with the club anymore, they need to present something to me that there's, I need to see changes within the club for me to want to come back. Mm-hmm. You know what I say to that? Fuck you. Like, fuck you, Austin Matthews. I've called you out before being a fraud. You're a fraud. You're a fraud. You're not even close to the level of a Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, McKinnon. Who are you to dictate that trade me, I won't fulfill my contract unless you make the moves that I deem appropriate for me to step in the lineup again? How can he come back and be captain of this team, taking a position like that? Mm-hmm. Again, the 2 years from now, I'm okay with. But holding the team hostage, the reason why the Leafs had a shit season is because you didn't perform. Let's put it on. You're the captain. You're the highest paid player. You're expected to perform. You didn't. You couldn't stay healthy. When you were in the lineup, you had significant droughts of non-scoring. What do you expect the season to look like if you're not in the lineup or you're not performing? Well, guess what? You got the result. Who are you to dictate anything? You're on the decline. So when I heard that, I felt he was done. It's over here in Toronto. And sit back right now and look at the market. I got to imagine the LA Kings are thinking, wow, we just got fucking smoked by like the Colorado Avalanche. And we got a decent team here, but we do not have the goal scoring. Maybe Austin Matthews is the question. Let's make that franchise altering decision to make a move for Austin Matthews. Mm-hmm. Let them make the mistake of doing that. You have the Utah Mammoth, who are, second year into Utah after coming from Arizona, had a good little playoff run, a little series against Vegas, but got stopped short with a young team. Maybe their owner's going to get aggressive, like, I want to compete now. Let's make a crazy move and get Austin Matthews. Mm-hmm. Let them give you a call. Minnesota Wild. They went toe-to-toe with the Avalanche. Made big moves to Quinn Hughes, which I love, by the way, and he may or may not come back. But if he does come back, Minnesota Wild are thinking, wow, how do I get past the Colorado Avalanche next year? Maybe Austin Matthews added to my lineup will do that. The Leafs had a moment 4 or 5 years ago when they made a decision to sign John Tavares. They used a big chunk of their cap to make a big commitment on a player. Many of those other teams are looking at making a splash as well. Free agency is dry. Let one of those teams make that mistake. Let 2 of those teams or 3 of those teams put up a bidding war for Austin Matthews because they think he's that missing link to the Stanley Cup. Let them make that mistake. Go into the draft. You probably draft, I got to believe, Gavin McKenna, first overall, and I think you move on. It would have been a nice idea to have Gavin McKenna play with Austin Matthews, right off the bat. I mean, you got McKenna, Matthews, Tavares, Nylander, Nyes. But I think the Austin Matthews ship has sailed. What are your thoughts on keeping Austin Matthews? Is it time for him to go, or would you kind of bring him back for another year and try to make a run at the playoffs?
Personally, I think it's time for him to go, but it's a really hard call. When all this stuff was going down before we got the first round pick here, I've never seen like Leaf fan morale at an all-time low. Like I remember I was seeing YouTube videos of like when they hired Sundin and Chaika. People were like, guys, I'm out. Like I'm out as a fan. Like and every year, yeah. Like it was like a talk show. I remember, like, it's just in my Instagram reels, but it's like, guys, I'm out. Like, I can't be a Leafs fan anymore. He's like, they're taking off the hats and shit. And then I just can't believe, like, it's at an all-time low. And then all of a sudden, boom, we got the first overall pick and everything's back to normal again. There's all this Leaf optimism. Like, for my entire life, it's always been like nothing but Leafs optimism. And then there was a 2-day window in my 28 years of existence where I actually seen everyone like shitting on the Leafs together. And then we get the first round pick and it's like, oh, everything's good again. It was honestly kind of surreal.
That sounds like a triage moment where clear.
Yeah.
They're back. They got the first round pick. They're back.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Beep, beep. It's flatlining. Boop, 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 clear. And that's with the first, you're right. There's some optimism with the first overall pick. But it's funny, where's the direction? Can they fuck this up? They could. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, the pick is Gavin McKenna. He could not, there's other players in this draft that could be better down the road, but I think you have to take him. Like he is, you can't fail on, what the public perceives as the first overall pick. Mm-hmm. Just can't do it. You got to take him. So maybe there's some optimism, but they got to have somebody in there to make bold decisions. I was driving to work the other day, and I listened to TSN radio, and the conversation was about the Montreal Canadiens. I'm not a Montreal fan, but I'm not one of those that's going to say, hey, it's a Canadian team. Let's hope they win the Stanley Cup. Fuck that. If you're not a true Leaf fan, if you're fucking saying the Montreal Canadiens, you want to see them raise the cup. Are you insane? Like would, any other sport, like would the Cowboys, oh man, let's go Houston Texans. No, why the fuck would you say that?
Or like the Yankees rooting for the Red
Mets.
Sox because they're in the AL or something. Yeah.
That's right. It was stupid. So God, who cares if they're Canadian? Who cares? The parade's not going down your street, right? You get no credit. I mean, there's nothing to talk about because let's say the Oilers would have won the cup, or in this case, the Canadians, the lone Canadian team back wins. Have you ever talked to a Montreal fan? Have you ever talked to a Habs fan?
I work with
one. Really?
Yeah.
Is your boss?
No.
But do you want to hear them gloating? Like for next year? Like,
no.
Do you want that on? You want that at the work site? No.
No,
you don't. you got to give them props. I wouldn't shit on the Canadians. I will say that they're probably right now the most exciting team to watch in the NHL. The Bell Center's rocking. I mean, you can't get a better atmosphere than in Montreal. But when I'm driving to work and I'm hearing, TSN radio talk about Montreal and the rise of the Habs, and it just angered me because, like, the Leafs for 9 seasons stayed the course.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember during the COVID season where we had the Canadian division and another disappointment where the Habs come back from a 3-1 lead over the Leafs, or at least they're up 3-1 in the series, and they knock off the Leafs. Another Game 7 where Marner or Matthews did not do anything. Surprise. And handshakes, bye-bye Toronto. The Habs lost Carey Price to retirement. They've shuffled the decks of chairs. They come into the season on the rise. They even walk into the playoffs and knock off the Tampa Bay Lightning with a rookie goaltender, Dobish. They have really not much performance from their top guns, 50-goal scorer Cole Caulfield and Nick Suzuki. I mean, that was their only blemish, like, in this playoff run against Tampa. And then you have Suzuki and Caulfield wake up and start performing. So this whole team is motoring. Yeah, they got pasted last night. They're going to Game 7, but they're still in this thing. And then talk about they have additional prospects, like, ready to go that we haven't even seen yet. And I'm thinking, what the fuck has happened to the Leafs? No prospects, no picks. Do they try to make a run at the playoffs or why? I don't know. And what it comes down to is they just could not make a decision. They could not make a bold decision when the writing was on the wall after disappointment, Game 7 loss, can't handle it against the top teams in critical moments, couldn't make a decision to move one of their core 4 or make a significant culture change to try to make the outcome different. They didn't have the balls to do it. And all the excuses that the surrounding parts were the problem. Oh, the coach is the problem. Now we're 3 coaches in. GM was the problem. We're multiple GMs in now. We're multiple side players in. And the core 4 was the problem. And it continues to be the problem with the core 3. Make a decision, change the course, and maybe Leaf fans will forgive you that we'll have to hold on again and wait a couple years before we can get back into contention. That's my soapbox rant. Fuck you, Austin Matthews. Leafs, get back on board with do a do-over. So, Boston, that's what I have.
I respect it.
Okay, good. We're going to move on. What are we going to move on to? Well, I'm going to move on to another topic here. Baseball. Let's talk baseball. All right, we're in baseball mode here. We're baseball situation. Right now, if I asked you what bets you have in baseball today, what do you have?
So today I actually just have a small parlay, just one win and then 2 wins. So I got Tampa Bay in the morning and then the Blue Jays at 1:30. So that's
and what's the score in the Tampa game?
That's at 3-1 odds. Honestly, I haven't checked because it was 1-0 when I started the podcast.
Okay.
So let's see. Let's see if I'm in luck. And we're down 2-1, but it's not halfway. It's only halfway, bottom of the 4th.
The Tampa leading the American League East. Are they still? Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're leading. They're leading.
That's what happens to me is that I get caught up on the playoffs now in the NHL and NBA, that I lose focus on not the day-to-day games in the Major League Baseball, but what the situation is, like who's leading the East and who's, like, hot right now. But can you throw in any tips, any insight in baseball, whether it be gambling, whether it be fantasy, whether it be for today, whether it be going into the week, anything to look out for Major League Baseball bettors and fantasy players?
Yeah, well, we're looking at Tampa here, and if you actually truly did believe Tampa was the best team in the division, which I honestly, I still think the Jays might have the best value here on division betting, but Tampa is still a 3-1 underdog to win the division right now. So where the Yankees are minus 260, which kind of sounds insane. The Yankees are good, but they don't come off to me as an elite team.
Nah, they don't, do they?
One thought, I didn't really come with any like betting tips or anything, but one thought that I did have in the American League is I took a step back and I tried to think, who's the best team in the American League? And you know what? I think when it comes down to like best team, maybe they finish. I think they'll finish guaranteed top 3 in the record. But when it comes down to the playoffs, I'll be thinking they're the best. Probably Atlanta. The Atlanta Braves are just
In
a
the
solid
American
team.
League. You said American League.
Yeah.
They're in the National League.
Sorry. Oh God. Sorry.
Credibility just shot
sorry.
the hell right there.
Sorry. I'm trying to say Atlanta is. They're the team to follow right now. They're the team to bet on. Acuna's out right now.
Yeah.
But I think they could make a run. You know, the New York Mets are not the second best team in baseball. I do think they still get to the playoffs if you can bet on that. A lot of people have wrote them off completely. But I think the second best team in baseball is the Atlanta Braves.
Okay, let's discuss that value in a second here. So currently right now the Mets are 19-26, 7 games under 500. They have absolutely been shit on by Mets fans and baseball fans alike. You got to love the outrage on Instagram. I love those videos.
I know.
I can't remember that dude. I want to give him props of his, he doesn't just do the Mets, but he mostly does the Mets, but he just goes off. It may be a show. I don't care if he's faking it. He does an amazing job of overreacting.
Is he screaming?
Oh, love it. I love it. Like, I think there was a play this week at first base. I can't remember who was on first base for the Mets.
Oh my God, the guy where the guy fell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen that before. You can imagine this guy's outrage watching it, but it's worth it. I don't care if it's fake. I don't care if it's manufactured anger. I love it. So more of the Mets fuck up and go south. It's better for my entertainment, not good for Mets fans, but it's fucking great. But let's talk there, because I think, if I'm mistaken, didn't the Mets also go on a big run last year to get to the playoffs? I mean, they were not necessarily beating the doors down at the start of the year, but they went on a hell of a run second half, and got to the playoffs. What did they get to the playoffs, or is that 2 years ago?
I don't think they made it to. No, they missed the playoffs last year.
Did they miss the playoffs?
I'm pretty sure. I'm
thinking 2 years ago, like because they took on the Dodgers in the
I'll Google
NL.
this.
Like I don't know why that just I forgot about that. Google it. That's just pathetic. I should really know that.
The New York Mets did not make the playoffs in 2025.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Fun fact. If I'm not mistaken, did it not come down to the last game of the season against the Miami Marlins and they lost that game?
I don't know.
All right. So, yeah.
But they were there.
If I'm not mistaken. Oh, yeah. Okay. The Mets were eliminated from playoff contention on the final day of the regular season after a 4-0 loss to the Miami Marlins. They finished tied with the Cincinnati Reds at 83-79. So yeah, they actually they lost last season in the worst possible fashion. I remember thinking that, and I'm like, wow, they really lost in a Leaf style fashion.
Oh, okay. Wait, thanks.
Right.
Well, we have the Mets. Okay, so right now to make the playoffs on FanDuel, what do you think the Mets are odds to make the playoffs right now? 7 games below 500.
I would say plus 120, but there's a chance it's even negative.
Oh, it's higher than that. You get better odds. You're underselling the negativity toward the Mets right now.
Yeah.
To make the playoffs,
350?
close. It's 310 plus 310.
Wow, that's worth it.
Is there value for you there?
There's value there.
Okay. Like, I mean, you have, like, Bichette's got to get going, right?
Yeah.
That's a guy I cheer for, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why. He's just like, when people, because I don't know why the Mets fans were fixated on Kyle Tucker, bring Kyle Tucker in, and they feel like they've settled for.
Oh, sorry. Kyle Tucker went to the Dodgers.
Yes, but they Mets were in contention to pick him up, and I think they're in their mind, they won it and felt Kyle Tucker was the right fit, and were really pissed when the Dodgers picked him up and had to settle, quote unquote, settle for Bo Bichette, and that's where I'm like, what do you mean settle? The guy was fucking outstanding last year. Vladdy wasn't on fire until later in the season and in the playoffs. I would say Bo carried their offense a lot in the regular season until he got hurt, and then comes back on one good leg and bashes a nice home run there in a clutch moment.
Yeah.
I'll take that guy all day.
3-run home run in Game 7 of the World Series.
Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah.
I mean, what else do you want? That's Mets. Yeah. Come on.
I'll never forget that feeling.
Yeah, like the guy's a player, man. He got my respect. I mean, this Jays team, I mean, they're not on fire right now. They got a win yesterday. But when I look at what I felt about John Schneider as manager after that Barrios fiasco against the Twins a few years back, I was going for his head. They blew that lead against the Mariners a year earlier in the playing game. But also uh, that run, I mean, all they did was not win the World Series. They couldn't do any more but win the World Series. I mean, Dalton Varsho, I was down on him. I thought he was a garbage, only strikeout, can't hit lefties. No.
Oh, now he's the guy keeping us in the playoff race right now, getting us our last 2 wins are game-winning hits by Dalton Varsho, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but look what he did in the playoffs last year. Yeah. And when it mattered the most, he performed.
Yeah, see,
I can't take it away from him.
One thing that I love about the Blue Jays is there's a lot of guys on the team that it's like they just feel like they're meant to be there. You know what I mean? Like even Barger, like I don't know, so like the fact that he can rocket a ball in from outfield at 105 miles an hour. And you know the offense is somewhere in him too. You know, it's like there's so many players with so much potential. Oh man. And you know what? We haven't had a chance to talk about this because we haven't done many podcasts. But wow, how good is Dylan Cease looking? Like Dylan Cease is looking like one of the best pitchers in baseball, you know. And it's like losing Bo Bichette, which I agree with you, was their second best hitter after Vlad. But you know, if we can replace him with a top 3, top 4 pitcher in baseball, you know, it eases that hurt a little. It's just about getting healthy now. I think losing Alejandro Kirk as well. What an impact that guy has on the team. Yeah. I think it's like, honestly, it's hard to understand the impact that a guy like that could have, but I don't think we play baseball the same without Kirk as our catcher.
Yeah, and you know, I remember watching that game against the White Sox when he got that foul tip, and he didn't think anything of it. He walks off, and he's got a broken thumb, I guess, he had on there, and then Barger. You talked about Barger, who was a significant player for the Blue Jays, and then he came off the IL and then went back on the IL. When you get into these injury situations and you lose your depth, especially a guy like Alejandro Kirk, another guy I didn't have much faith in, you know, when he first, you know, started to rise to fame in Toronto. But yeah, he's a big loss and he's clutch. And man, they just got to have these guys back. They need to hang in there, tread water enough. So when they get and hopefully get healthy, they can get on a run. And yeah, Dylan Cease, I'm trying to remember the last time we had a dominant pitcher. I mean, we have Kevin Gausman's a great pitcher. Don't get me wrong. And you have Savage, who could be a great pitcher, but the dominating stuff, like just overpowering strikeout after strikeout, and that Dylan Cease is putting on the board. I can't recall the last time we've seen that in a Blue Jays uniform, a pitcher with that dominant amount of stuff in his repertoire.
Yeah. Would you rather have Dylan Cease right now or Paul Skeens?
I'm going to go Paul Skeens. I'm sorry, man. Paul Skeens is an exceptional unicorn. He's a unicorn. And, you know, Dylan Cease has bounced around from White Sox to San Diego, now to Toronto. I mean, yes, he's dominant, but Paul Skeens is a unicorn, man. Let's not go crazy here.
No, I think it's crazy. Listen, at the end of the day, you know, Paul Skeens, has he won Cy Young? Because Dylan Cease has.
And he's won 2 Cy Youngs like in a row.
Didn't he win Rookie of the Year? Paul Skeens won Cy Young?
Let's go. We should know this. I don't know
why.
Paul
Skeens hasn't won a Cy Young?
No, let's just check it out. Let's check it out. Let's go to the facts.
I think he won Rookie of the Year. Okay, I know Dylan Cease has one with San Diego.
Let me put my old man glasses on.
Yeah. Because all I'm saying is obviously this year, you know, he's been better. And then also he has a Cy Young under his belt where Skeens doesn't have the Cy Young under his belt. At least we got to confirm this, of course.
Okay, let's confirm.
All right.
Hold on.
Let's see what or what Google has to say.
Okay, hold on. So for the American League, you obviously know who won the last 2. Your boy.
Yep,
Scooble. Garrett Cole in 2023, but we're looking at National League here. Guess who your 2025 winner was?
Skeens?
Paul Skeens, man.
Okay,
what are you talking about?
So he has 1 though, not 2.
I apologize. I was thinking Scooble.
Okay, so we'll meet in the middle.
Year.
We'll meet in the middle. I thought it was 0. You thought it was 2. So we'll chalk up 1 as a tie.
And when has Dylan Cease won 1? He hasn't won 1.
Has he not?
No.
Oh my! I swear Dylan Cease has Here, let me Google this.
This really turned on you big time.
This may have.
I couldn't be more right, and you couldn't be more wrong. This is getting ugly. And the final answer, I want you to be the one. I want you to be like a referee after checking if there's a disallowed goal coming to center ice and letting the crowd know your findings.
Oh, fourth and Cy
After
Young
review,
voting. Oh, God.
after
Yeah,
review,
that's my bad.
Dylan Cease has not won a Cy Young. However, Paul Skeens has won and recently won the 2025 National League Cy Young Award. Or Kyle Blondin is right.
All right.
Thank you.
Skeens wins. Skeens wins.
For being wrong, Austin gets a 2-minute penalty for delay a game. Delay a pod. Way to go.
Rough. That's rough.
That is rough. Man, you were off. Like, that was just like that. You know, your little train was right off the tracks there. Right off the tracks.
All right. Well, you know what? He's still better. He's winning it this year. All right. Let's go. I wonder
might come
honestly,
back.
I do wonder what the betting would be on that now.
Well, let's go. We're a betting show. We got to look this up.
Yeah.
Let's look it up.
Look it up.
All right. Man, Austin, can't wait till you have to put reading glasses on when you have contacts and stuff, man. It's pathetic.
I do got reading glasses on right now.
Yeah, but you just have like instead of contacts, you have glasses. I have contacts on, and I still need reading glasses. All right, so we're gonna look at Cy Young. Come on. American League Cy Young. Dylan Cease is plus. Cam Schittler is still favorite over Dylan Cease.
Wow.
Cam Schittler. Imagine losing to a guy named Cam Schittler. Come on.
Are you pronouncing that right? Are you sure?
Probably not. And guess who's favorite in the National League to win the Cy Young at the moment? Who is your betting favorite?
Skeens.
So
wait, so Dylan Cease he's second in voting?
Yes. And Paul Skeens is number 1 in the National League.
Yeah. Hey, they could both win as well. Wait,
they could,
really? You know what? I would say in the National League, I think Ohtani has a great chance as well. He's got to be there.
You think so? Not Sanchez, Philadelphia.
Well,
he's number 2.
Well, I don't know if you've.
He's been on lights out.
I don't know if you've seen it, but Ohtani actually has been focusing on pitching, so he hasn't been batting on the games that he's pitching.
That, yeah.
So it really seems like, listen, if that guy's locked into trying to go for that, then I think anybody's in trouble. That's Shohei Ohtani.
You know that guy's looking for his trophy case to say, I got 2 World Series rings. I got a couple MVPs already. I need that Cy Young to top it off. I think you're absolutely correct. And I think he has all the leverage in the world that when he signs that contract with the Dodgers, it is, I am going to dictate, I pitch.
That's crazy.
I'm going to dictate if I feel that I want to chase the Cy Young and not bat, then you're going to do it. I don't think that's by mistake. I think that is crafted out with the leverage of Ohtani. I don't blame him. He's doing what he thinks is going to be best for him. But I do believe he probably has all the leverage in his contract to make those calls, not the team. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
What is there?
It's like he's like
who's
LeBron
the biggest
James.
athlete in sport right now? Like out of the 4 major sports, who's the biggest athlete? Like who's got the most power? Who is the guy right now?
Honestly, I would say it's Ohtani because Ohtani is clearly the best ever at his sport. Am I wrong? Like, I'm just talking like, hey, no one can do what Ohtani, like, to be able to have the impact as a top 10 pitcher and a top 2 hitter.
Right.
It's like, how do you compare to that? Even if you're like the number 1 hitter or the number 1 pitcher, how do you compare to that? And unless you're like 10 miles ahead, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't.
It's hard to disagree.
If he goes to any team, like I don't know, he's the biggest impact player I've ever seen in baseball for sure.
Is there if out of the 4 major sports coming to Toronto, if somebody was coming to town, is there anybody bigger than Ohtani as far as, oh my God, I got a ticket to watch him play? Is there another player that is up there for you?
I don't think so. Maybe I guess Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid, maybe.
Connor McDavid, yeah. I think that's more local, though. I think
that's more local.
I don't think if you're in Arlington, Texas, that's the case. But you also look. We were talking earlier about what role does Wembanyama play for the Spurs? He's incredible, right? He's physically 7'4"? Did we talk about 7'5"?
7'5",
right? And the guy's draining threes.
Yeah,
he's your next Don. Like, I mean, he's already there, but like you said, as soon as LeBron kind of goes out of the picture, even though he's not the guy, but he's the name still. He's the guy, right? He's the guy in basketball that is the level setter, right? Would you say?
Well, you know what I could say? Like this series with OKC and Spurs, like if if they go in and they win that series, like we all know it's because Wembanyama. And if Wembanyama can take down this just solidified, what feels like it's either going to be Wembanyama is just such a force that he's able to win championships, or it's the dynasty of OKC, right? So it's kind of like this series kind of defines really the superpower of the NBA. Like
It feels that way.
yeah.
It really does. It really
Think
does.
about it.
And
Shai just won MVP, back-to-back years. But
Yep.
if Wemby can come in there and dominate him, then Wemby's that guy. Then
do you feel OKC gets respect? I don't think
no,
so. I don't feel like they do.
See, I don't think they get respect, but I also think they don't get respect just because they make it look so easy.
They're
It's
crushing
just,
teams.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
crushing.
Yeah,
Like it's not even a series.
yeah. It's like
the Lakers had
yeah,
zero chance in that
zero.
series.
Yeah, and LeBron was able to push off the Rockets. The Rockets weren't supposed to be a pushover team, but you can't do that to OKC. They're too solid.
Yeah, but they're like crushing teams, and
Yeah.
I think this will define either OKC's dominance. But I mean, if this was the same team, but they were called the Golden State Warriors, or if they were called the New York Knicks, they were called the LA Lakers, this would be the biggest show in town. But right now, because they're OKC, Oklahoma City, they're under the radar, 100%. But they're clearly the best team in the NBA, unless San Antonio steps in and knocks them off, which possible, but unlikely.
And you know what? Just looking back in time, you look at the Leafs struggling to make any moves, but then you go back and look at, because OKC 10 years ago had Russell Westbrook, they had Durant, and they had Harden. Was that it? OKC? And they blew that team up. And look at what they were able to build. Just a solid all-around team. And if I'm not mistaken, they still have first-round picks out the wazoo, like for years to come. And
I can't even count the number of I wouldn't even look at they robbed the Clippers in the
Paul George, right? Or no,
Paul George trade.
Yeah.
And there's a few other deals they made that not only did they get picks, but they picked up SGP.
Yeah.
They've done it all right.
Would you say SGA like
SGA? SGP,
yeah,
sorry.
it's okay.
Same
it's
game
okay.
parlay.
Would you say he's the best player in basketball?
Would you take SGA over Wembanyama?
No.
Then he's not the best player in basketball. So again, I think if he's a New York Knick, I think we're talking like he is.
That's true.
And if he's American, probably talking like he is. But the odds are no, he's not.
But he is the best Canadian of all time.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. I can't disagree with that, right? Like, you guys got ring. He's got a ring. He's got a
ring and back-to-back MVPs.
Let's go with it. Yeah, he's the guy. But I mean, if Wembanyama comes into this series and knocks him off, then it's all for naught. I don't care if they got a championship. It's going to be focused on him, right? He's the guy. So big series, man. Actually, just having this conversation has got me a little more pumped for that series.
Yeah, like
there's more on the line than just who wins.
Yeah, sometimes literally. Like I think it's literally almost the direction of the NBA, right? Because it's either you're going to get that team-based team that's dominating the league, or you have that team. Well, and I don't want to call the Spurs a one-player team, but I mean they're a borderline playoff team without him, and then they go to a top 3 team with him, right? The guy's 7'5", hitting threes.
7'5".
Yeah, I mean that's all.
What is the air like up there? Oh my God.
Honestly.
Holy. Imagine trying to get into a car.
Yeah, I'll be watching that game tomorrow.
7'5"?
Yeah, I'll be watching that game tomorrow night.
Imagine you got to give this guy a ride in an Uber and he's got to sit behind you. Like, what's the conversation about legroom here? And push your seat up. Where's your seat as a driver? Like right in the windshield? Like, what is it?
You know what?
Like
I don't even think.
up driving?
Let's be honest. You can't get in the car. He can't
get in the car. But imagine he's got to sit right behind you as a driver, and you keep moving up. Like, you got enough? You got enough? And you're like,
that's hilarious.
Your face is planted against the windshield. Like, it's insane. You're always honking because your chest is against the fucking.
Oh, that's too funny.
So, Wembanyama, maybe it's his time. He's got a little bit of an attitude going on right now, man.
You know what? I seen in that series with the Timberwolves. Here's the thing, because you seen that play where he was ejected, right?
For the elbow.
He takes his elbow, swings it, and hits the guy in the head. But I seen guys on Instagram just breaking it down like they had this coming. Had this coming. Wemby be like running down the court, just get a full on. I can't remember if it's Naz Reid. Is that his name? On the Timberwolves, but he just takes it and then throws him, and the refs don't catch it, and Wembanyama gets pissed, right? And yeah.
I think you know what? I think it's time for him to have a bit of an attitude, a little bit. I'm not taking it anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's going to help him, and he helped him in that series.
I think so too. Yeah.
And it also gets the officials' attention that when a star like that has to use his elbows to make a point, there's going to be more focus on protecting him so that he stays in a game.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy that
works on many levels?
Yeah, him doing that actually benefits him.
Yes.
But it's like, at the end of the day, as a fan, if you see that kind of bullshit happening to him, then that's what you want to see from him. You don't want Draymond Green level just punching your teammate in the face. You don't want unprovoked shit. But when it's just a guy standing up for himself, you don't want McDavid getting knocked around. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to see him stand up for himself, and I think you're right. Good things will come from it.
Yeah, and I don't want to see a Wembanyama. If I got tickets in the front row, somebody getting away with clutching, grabbing, holding his arm, so he can excel and perform the level he can play.
Yeah.
Same with McDavid. I don't want to see him being hooked, cheap shotted. I want to see him 100% entertaining, flying down the ice. So yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
And now are you cheering for him versus your Canadian?
Yeah. It's
SGA.
Hard. And and it almost makes you think, having this conversation, is there good money to be put on the series for the Spurs? It's nearly 3-1. I think it's plus 290. Yeah. And to me, it seems like more of a coin flip of a situation. I mean, let's remember back in the beginning of the season, I'm pretty sure OKC was like 19-1 or something. But then in like a short window, they lost 3 straight games to the Spurs. So it's like they were able to dominate anybody else, but it also not only were the Spurs. I mean, the Spurs were having an okay record, but it just seemed like they were the kryptonite to the OKC. So we'll really see if that seems to still be the case. If it's just a matchup difference, they can't get over the 7-5 player. They're not just it's going to be the series of the year to watch, no doubt.
I would love, before making that bet, to have like a one-on-one podcast, 30 minutes to talk to the San Antonio medical staff and make sure that Wembanyama is 100% healthy and doesn't have like a bum knee or like a hamstring pull or concussion, anything like that, because he's going to need to be 100% for them to pull it off. And if he has a little bit where he's 99%, no bet for me. No bet for me. Okay, so we talked about the NBA longer than I thought we would, but very good conversation. And if you see me tilt my head, I have a soccer game I'm betting on, so I'm looking at it. I need Atlanta and Bologna to get one more goal with 7 more minutes to go.
I'm still following Tampa Bay here. We're up 4-2 now on Tampa, which
really?
I'm betting on them, so I'm rooting for them. But I just want to make it clear, as a division rival, never truly happy that they win.
You're not going down to Tampa, putting your your Rays jersey on?
Yeah, I'm not going to that stadium. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, where I want to go in the conversation next is I want to talk about a series I want to put together podcast-wise that tries to lead us into football season, right? We talked about this podcast being more of a square better, the average Joe. Looking at, it's games on TV, let's bet it, getting a little emotional because, hey, there's 20 games on, I got to get action on all of them. That's what this is. We're having fun. Excuse me. But I think I was talking to you earlier that we're going to try something here, a series where I'm going to try to manage a bankroll of $1,000 and try to follow the professional betting fundamentals. What does that mean? Well, that means using a percentage of your bankroll, not getting out of whack and start going up and down and fluctuating, but sticking to 1, 2, 3 units already preset. And the challenge here is, can I do it? Can I stay on course slow, for the slow grind that this is? And that is to become a professional sports bettor. So I'm going to share my screen here. Let's ask Copilot, our friends at Copilot. I'm going to go on Copilot right now. Maybe I won't share it. I don't know if I'm legally allowed to share it. But let's say Copilot. Let's use AI. How often do you use AI, Austin?
Rarely, I guess. I mean, when you Google things now, AI helps you, so that would be the extent to it, really.
Yes, I want to manage my sporting bankroll like a professional. I have $1,000. How much should my bets be?
I feel like it should be $200.
You think so on 1,000? I don't think so. Much lower.
50?
Short answer. If you want to manage your bankroll like a professional bettor, your bet size on $1,000 bankroll should almost always fall between $10 and $30 per bet, depending on the risk tolerance and edge. That's the headline. Now let's break it down. So basically, $10 to $30. Because you have like a 10% or 1% bet. It's those small percentages of what you do in your bankroll. Wow, it's going to be tough, man. I feel like, and I'll tell you, with Champions League coming up in 2 weeks, that is PSG taking on Arsenal on May 30th. I'm gonna get a pass on that one. Okay, I'm gonna try to grind it up for the next 2 weeks. Follow me on Overrated EXPER21X. I'm gonna try to share my wagers and how it's going, updates. We'll try to circle back. Hopefully, Austin, you can be on these conversations and we can just chat about it. We're going to try to put a few podcasts together. So we're going to try to do random quick podcasts to look how it's going, but also talk about the struggles of, a bettor like myself trying to stick to a professional's way of doing things. Am I tracking my bets? Am I using logic to why I'm making the bets? Am I holding off? Am I sticking to $10, $20, $30 wagers, depending on how well I think this game I got, really figured out? What do you think, Austin? Is it time to try to shift more towards a professional way of looking at things versus how things are going today? What are your thoughts on this strategy? And maybe this series? What kind of interesting things do you think will pop up when we conversate in another podcast?
I think you should stick to the professional stuff because, I mean, at the end of the day, listen, for me, I feel like I'm more likely to make like a $50 bet instead of like a $10, $30 bet. But if this is how professionals do it, then this is how you would win, right? So if it's if this is the professional way, they're saying that because this is the way to be more successful. Therefore, I think it's a no-brainer that you should follow it, obviously, right? And I think it'll make it entertaining because you're focused on the more big picture than the small picture as well, right? So you just have to. I would say it's almost a bigger investment of time than it is money in a way, right? So it's just you got to commit that time, be patient, and see how it shakes out, right?
Yeah, and it's going to kick off on Monday. Today's all free for all. It's a holiday weekend. Let's do it. Let's do it up. Let's get crazy. Let's get stupid. Again, responsibly. Okay, for you bettors out there. But Monday, $1,000 leading up to Champions League. I'm going to pop in a few podcasts. We're going to make it a special series. What should we call it? The grind? The grand grind? The grind because it's a grand.
Grand grind. I like that. Grind. Yeah.
Okay, it's going to be the grand grind. And I think where the challenge is going to be, I'm telling you, the challenge is going to be right off the bat. If those first 2-3 bets of $10 lose, and I'm sitting there with $970, that's going to anger me. That's going to anger me to see that below $1,000. And those little things are what professional gamblers can live with because they know their swings. And they got to stick to, the plan. Anything that you're doing, Austin, that is worth talking about from the sports season? You're into, obviously, softball season. How's that going?
Good. Our team is actually undefeated, 2-0. So it's been a lot of fun. Softball. Guy on the team hit a home run the other night. Pretty cool.
Okay. Where's your home run?
No home runs. Been getting a lot of hits. Had some good defensive plays, but nice diving play at third. But other than that,
really,
yeah,
nice.
But other than that, not too much.
They put you at third base.
One of the girls had to sit. She was feeling a little tired, so I got up there, made a crazy diving third play. But usually I'm in left field, so.
I was gonna. I'm not saying, oh my god, you're playing third base because you suck. It was more about third base could be a death trap in softball.
Yeah.
When you see some of the guys coming up there jacking, like just ripping, and then a lot of the strategy right now is getting on top of the ball like a tomahawk chop.
Yeah.
Where he gets the underspin, backspin on the ball. Sorry, man, that's dangerous. Like third base.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I retired from softball. I don't want to do this anymore. Left field seems a little safer. If you ever watch on Instagram, sometimes I'll sit there and watch. You just have guys jacking, plate appearances over the fence, smashing, some softballs into the left field bleachers or almost hitting the light standard. Something about that, watching that, man.
Yeah.
But playing third base and getting in the teeth, no way.
It was funny. I actually had to show up straight from work, so I had to play softball in my work boots. And I tried to stretch. I had no choice, right? But I had to stretch I tried to stretch a single into a double in these work boots, and I actually slid and was safe. But the guy just looks at me and he's like, "No sliding in the league. You're out." So
is that the rule?
I didn't know that. I was like, "Oh, okay. I didn't know."
People enforce the rules, man.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. So outside of that, anything else you want to share with the audience as we end the podcast, aka live stream, aka video pod? Anything that stands out to you?
Not much. Just wanted to say, happy to be back. Also, top of the first, Jays are up too, so I'm pretty pumped about that. But no, I'm happy to be back on the pod. Always a good time. Always good time conversating, and yeah, that's it.
I almost forgot that I did a solo pod for the NHL to kick off the playoffs. It's funny. Totally forgot I did it. All right. So Austin from Ajax, is good to be back, and you're committed to a couple of quick podcasts to follow along the Grand Grind.
Of course.
That's a special series that I think everybody out there can relate to. And I'll be like sweating because I can't handle like these small bets. But I'll have to manage for you, the audience. The pleasure's all been yours as the Overrated Experience is winding down, and the Overrated Experience is over and out.
Austin from Ajax, out.
Bye, everybody.